Our country is in danger because we are at risk of over-indebtedness. Our country is in danger because we are on the brink of over-indebtedness. Over the last 2 decades, despite the succession of governments with different tendencies, our country's debt has increased by 2,000 billion euros.
Welcome to AfriPlus News Channel, where we bring you in-depth and thought-provoking analysis on issues shaping global affairs and Africa's place in them. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more relevant and important updates like this one. Your engagement helps us reach more viewers and build a stronger community of informed voices. Breaking news out of France has sent shockwaves across Europe and beyond. On the 25th of August 2025, the French Prime Minister openly cried out about the country's staggering indebtedness. France's public debt has surged to around 3.355 trillion, roughly 114% of its gross domestic product, placing it among the most heavily indebted nations in Europe. To put this in perspective, France now spends almost 44.5 billion every year just to service interest payments on its debt. That is not money going into infrastructure, healthcare, or education. It is money simply vanishing into repayment obligations. The question to you is this: what does it say when a leading economy, once hailed as a global powerhouse, finds itself trapped under such suffocating debt? Do you think this reveals a deep decline in France's economic dominance, or could this be brushed aside as a temporary crisis? For decades, France leaned heavily on the wealth extracted from Africa: gold, uranium, and other critical resources that were accessed under questionable terms of dependency and control. But since the Sahel nations severed ties and halted French access to these resources, the cracks in France's financial system have grown more visible. Could it be that without Africa, France cannot sustain the lifestyle and economic prestige it once boasted? And if France, without free access to African minerals, is already struggling, does this expose the uncomfortable truth that France's position as a developed nation was built on African exploitation? Drop your thoughts in the comment section.
Notre pays est en danger parce que nous sommes au risque du surendettement. Our country is in danger because we are at risk of over-indebtedness. Our country is in danger because we are on the brink of over-indebtedness. Over the last 2 decades, despite the succession of governments with different tendencies, our country's debt has increased by 2,000 billion euros, 1,000 billion between 2005 and 2015, and 1,000 billion between 2015 and 2025.
Do you see this as the beginning of France's fall into the same third world category it once looked down upon?
If Africans, Francophone African countries, were to decide today that all French companies must get out of Africa, that all the monies that are going to France, estimated at hundreds of billions of dollars annually, if all that funding would stop going to France today, France will immediately become the third world country. And Africa no longer needs to be getting aid from anybody.
The crisis becomes even clearer when we look at France's budget. In 2024, the French budget deficit exploded to 5.8% of GDP, nearly double the Eurozone's official limit of 3%. This is not a small misstep. It is a structural imbalance that the International Monetary Fund has already warned could persist at around 6% in the medium term. What this means is that France is spending far more than it earns, and the gap is widening. This raises the question: how would you react if your own government's budget was so badly mismanaged that it risked undermining the very stability of the nation? Should France prioritize slashing its debt to reassure investors and international markets, or should it focus on protecting social welfare programs for its citizens, even at the risk of deeper financial instability?
Breaking news, France is broke. Do you remember when Vladimir Putin said that France needs Africa? Without Africa, France will go broke. Well, those words have come true. France is in a $3.6 trillion debt. That is crazy, but it does not stop there. With every second, the debt grows by $6,000. That is crazy. It seems without Africans' resources, they all go broke and they need us. That's why they have been sending representatives to Africa to beg, let us come back. Well, Africans are saying no, we don't want you here. Do you remember when Macron went on television and he said that Africa needs us, Africa should be thanking us, which is just crazy. Well, right now he sees the repercussions. He sees we are not playing around. We have woken up. This news is coming right after they have just handed back their last military base in Senegal. So right now, as I speak, France does not have any military base in Senegal and they don't have any military personnel over there. So this is just crazy. So after being kicked out of West Africa and realizing that Russia is actually helping West Africa, they have decided to go to a weaker country. They have decided to go and steal the resources from a weaker country. And guess which country that is? Madagascar. Yes, they are stealing the islands of Madagascar. So guys, let me know what you think about all this.
When we analyze these numbers carefully, they tell a much bigger story than just economics. They reveal a shift in global power. For decades, France positioned itself as a pillar of the European Union and a leading voice on international affairs. But now, with debt surging, deficits spiraling, and influence slipping in Africa, the illusion of French strength is starting to crumble. If France cannot stabilize its finances, can it continue to claim leadership on the global stage? Or is this a sign that Europe itself is facing a deeper structural decline, as reliance on African resources can no longer be taken for granted? I want to hear your perspectives. Do you believe this is just France's problem, or is it a symptom of a larger global realignment? The implications go far beyond numbers. When a major power like France admits it cannot cope with debt, it shakes confidence not only in Paris but across the Eurozone. Investors start to question whether European economies are truly as stable as they appear. Citizens start to fear austerity measures, job losses, and tax hikes. And countries that once bowed to French influence may begin to see an opportunity to assert their independence even more. So I ask you, what does France's weakness mean for the rest of the world, especially for Africa, where nations are already redefining their sovereignty? Is this a chance for Africa to finally chart a course free from European dominance? Share your opinions respectfully in the comments. We want to know what you think. As we close this analysis, it is clear that France is facing one of its most critical challenges in modern history. Debt at 114% of GDP, ballooning deficits, and the collapse of its grip on African resources point to a nation grappling with the limits of its power. The question is not only whether France can recover, but whether the world will ever view France with the same authority again. Perhaps the deeper question is this: can a nation built on centuries of exploitation sustain itself when the exploited refuse to play along? That is the conversation we invite you to join. We encourage you to share your insights respectfully in the comment section below. Do you believe France is entering permanent decline, or can it reinvent itself in this new global order? Your voice matters, and your thoughts fuel the kind of informed discussions we aim to create here. If you value this type of analysis and want to support our work, consider joining our channel membership or giving us a super thanks. Your support enables us to keep delivering content that digs beneath the surface and challenges dominant narratives. Disclaimer: this analysis is based on publicly available reports and credible economic data. It does not promote hate speech, discrimination, or misinformation. The goal is to provide professional analysis for educational and informational purposes only.